Absolutely delighted that you're here tonight. I want to explain a little bit about our Mendelssohn What's New concept or series. We began this several years ago when I was told that there was a lot of literature by Mendelssohn that had never been performed, and that during the Nazi period, many manuscripts were, for some reason, sent to Krakow, Poland. And so I thought, this is something that's important for us. Part of our mission is to showcase talent and repertoire that people might not know, and great literature, obviously. And so we contacted Larry Todd, who is the leading Mendelssohn scholar at Duke. And Larry has been with us for some of our concerts. He's consulting with us. And if you haven't read his Mendelssohn biography, I can tell you that I read every footnote. And it's a wonderful book. It won the Oxford University Press Award in 2003 for good reason. And the footnotes are very interesting. They cite letters from Fanny, his sister, to Felix, or the mother. I mean, they're not just any old footnote. And we are very interested in this subject. I got a doctorate at Columbia and wrote about Meyerbeer. And at the time, I devoted one chapter to Judaism and music by Wagner. Wagner was fleeing from Germany, and he went to live in Zurich, and under the name of Mr. Freethought, Freigedank, he said that everything that's wrong with modern music in 1850 is the fault of the Jews. And his friend and father-in-law-to-be, Franz Liszt, said, "Are you Mr. Freigedank?" And he said, "Yes." And in 1865, he updated that document when he was in the Lucerne area writing Meistersinger. So one half of his brain had the most beautiful things pouring out of it, and the other, pure vitriol. And he called for the final solution to the Jewish problem, which of course endeared him to numerous historical figures that we all know, and I don't have to enumerate. But his particular hostility was directed at Meyerbeer and Mendelssohn. Those were the two leading figures of the time. And of course, Felix Mendelssohn was an extraordinary, gifted genius, a prodigy. Many likened him to Mozart. Goethe did. And so in 1935, when Thomas Beecham went to lay a wreath at the statue at the Leipzig Conservatory that Felix Mendelssohn founded, he found that Mendelssohn's statue, one day he came, saw the statue, came back the next day with a wreath, and the statue had been decimated by the Nazis. And when I was at school at Columbia, there was a lovely little yellow book, and it was all about, prepared by the Nazi regime, all about the Jewish composers. So it would say Mendelssohn half Jew or Mendelssohn full Jew or whatever. It was a very interesting period, obviously, so the fact that the Nazi regime saved Mendelssohn's documents is interesting, and also sent Meyerbeer's documents to Silesia is interesting, because at least they weren't consistent in the destruction of the material and the composer's output. So with all of that background, we thought, wouldn't it be nice to reconstruct the view that people have of Mendelssohn, and Larry Todd feels very strongly about this as well. Somehow, in the post-Wagnerian aftermath, people said, oh, he's just a lightweight. And he's not a lightweight, and he wasn't a lightweight. Anybody who wrote the Scherzo at 16, the octet, I mean, his music is amazing, and we all know that. But there has been a colored view of him. So part of this long-winded introduction is to say that we felt this was something of value to do on a continuing basis, and we will continue to do. And in the first concert, we had fugues of the 12-year-old Mendelssohn, drawings from Grindelwald of the 12-year-old Mendelssohn. He was an artist. He was a very, very gifted musician. And he lived very close, in every sense, to his sister Fanny, who married an artist named Hensel. So you see Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel. And we really don't know very much about Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel, but Larry Todd does, and has just published a book about her. And she wrote more than 466 pieces. So tonight we're going to hear two, and we thought we would call it Fanny Mendelssohn and Her Circle. We've already premiered a Mendelssohn concerto that he left that was incomplete. I mean, we did an early version of the violin concerto. We're trying to do interesting things relating to the Mendelssohn. So in that spirit, we have organized this program tonight and are including such interesting women as Clara Schumann and Fanny Mendelssohn, obviously. And I do want you to know that there is a very special person in this audience. When I got so involved in all of this, I discovered that Fanny Mendelssohn's great-great-granddaughter lives here in New York, and I know she's somewhere, but I can't see her. Anne Leo Ellis is here tonight. There she is. There's the hand. And Anne at first said, well, I just have the same, bloodline. I really didn't do anything. She's an author and a brilliant woman and a wonderful person, and we've become friends, and we're very happy to have her because there's some kind of historic continuity that means something to the rest of us. So we hope that that will add a little something of zest and whatever. Clara Schumann's life, of course, was a very tricky one. She had a father who locked her up to play, and she was one of the great pianists of the 19th century, and she fell in love with a student of her father's named Robert Schumann. And the father tried to do everything to stop this marriage and relationship. But Clara Schumann was a composer and a great pianist as well, and so in view of the fact that Mendelssohn, who created the Leipzig Conservatory and invited Robert Schumann to be on the faculty, that extends the circle. That's part of the circle of friends. So without further ado, and more information that is just subsidiary to the music, we'll let our musicians play for you.